You've watched your dog twitch, whimper, and paddle their paws in their sleep and wondered, are they actually dreaming? What if what happens inside your dog's sleeping mind is far more emotional, far more vivid, and far more connected to you than you ever imagined? Let's start with the question that every dog owner has asked at least once. You're sitting quietly in the evening, your dog is curled up on their bed, breathing slowly, and then it begins. A soft whimper, a tiny kick of the back legs, maybe a muffled bark that sounds almost like they're calling out to someone. And you think, are they dreaming? The answer is yes. Absolutely, definitively yes. Dogs have a sleep architecture that is remarkably similar to ours. When dogs fall into deep sleep, their brains cycle through distinct stages, including REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement. REM is the phase where the most vivid story-like dreaming happens in humans, and the same is true for dogs. During REM, if you look closely, you can often see your dog's eyes moving beneath their closed eyelids, tracking something, following something, reacting to something that exists only in their sleeping mind. Here is something that should genuinely stop you in your tracks. The part of the brain responsible for consolidating memories and generating dreams, the hippocampus, functions in dogs in a way that is structurally and functionally very similar to the human hippocampus. This is not a coincidence. It is the product of millions of years of mammalian evolution. And here is where it gets even more remarkable. In studies on sleeping animals, when scientists found a way to temporarily suppress the brainstem mechanism that paralyzes the body during REM sleep, the result was that sleeping animals began to physically act out their dreams. Dogs would stand up, move around, chase invisible objects, interact with invisible companions, all while completely unconscious. That's not a metaphor. That is a brain so fully immersed in a dream that it tries to live it. Your dog doesn't just experience a vague fog of sleep. They experience scenarios. They experience events. And this is the part that should matter most to you, they very likely experience emotions while they dream. Small dogs tend to dream more frequently than large dogs. A small breed like a Chihuahua or a Yorkshire Terrier may enter a new dream cycle every 10 minutes. A large dog like a Golden Retriever or a German Shepherd might dream every 45 to 90 minutes, but those dreams tend to last longer. Puppies and older dogs dream more often than middle-aged dogs. And scientists believe this is because their brains are doing more active memory processing. For puppies, everything is new and needs filing. For senior dogs, decades of experience are being continuously revisited and reorganized. So the next time your dog twitches in their sleep, don't dismiss it. That's not a random nerve firing. That is a mind at work telling itself a story. Now we get to the question that makes every dog owner lean forward. What exactly is playing in that dreaming mind? Here is what the science strongly suggests, and what should genuinely move you. Dogs most likely dream about you. When the brains of sleeping rats were studied during REM sleep, researchers found that the same neural patterns that fired when the rats ran a maze during the day fired again during sleep, in the same sequence at a slower speed. The rats were replaying their day. They were mentally rerunning the experience, processing it, emotionally encoding it. Dogs, with their far more complex social and emotional brains, almost certainly do the same thing. And what are the most emotionally significant events in a dog's day? Not the squirrel they almost caught. Not the smell at the fire hydrant on the corner. The most emotionally charged, neurologically significant moments in your dog's day are the moments involving you. The greeting when you came home. The walk you took together. The moment you sat on the floor and let them put their head in your lap. The tone of your voice when you called their name. Think about that. While your dog sleeps, their brain is likely replaying a highlight reel of the time they spent with you. You are, quite possibly, the star of your dog's dreams. But the dreams are not always warm and gentle. Dogs also dream about fear, frustration, and unresolved tension. A dog who experienced something threatening during the day, a confrontation with another dog, a loud unexpected noise, an uncomfortable vet visit, may relive those moments during sleep. Their breathing might become rapid. Their body might go rigid. They might let out a high, distressed whine that is different from the playful barks of a happy dream. This is where your role as an owner becomes genuinely important, even while your dog is asleep. Rescue dogs and dogs with histories of trauma often show signs of distress during sleep that appear directly linked to their past experiences. The brain does not simply forget difficult events. It processes them repeatedly, in the quiet of the night. Understanding this means understanding that what happens to your dog during the day echoes into their sleeping hours in ways that are very real, very felt, and very meaningful to their emotional well-being. Dreams are not passive. They are the brain's way of making sense of experience. For your dog, that experience is almost entirely built around you, around your home, and around the emotional texture of your relationship. The dreams your dog has are a direct reflection of the life you are building together. So now you know your dog dreams, and you have a sense of what those dreams contain. But what does this mean for you practically in real life? Because this knowledge comes with responsibility, and also with some genuinely important warnings. Let's start with the most important rule, and the one most owners break out of love. Do not wake a dreaming dog. When your dog is in REM sleep and showing signs of dreaming, twitching, whimpering, paddling their legs, your instinct is to comfort them. Especially if they seem distressed. You want to reach out, touch them, say their name softly. But this is actually one of the most disorienting and potentially dangerous things you can do. When a dog is abruptly pulled from deep REM sleep, their brain can take several seconds, sometimes longer, to fully reorient to reality. In that gap, they are not fully in the waking world yet, and they may react with fear, confusion, or even a reflexive snap or bite, not out of aggression, but out of pure startle disorientation. This happens with gentle, loving dogs who have never shown aggression in their waking lives. It is not their fault. It is biology. The phrase "let sleeping dogs lie" is not just a metaphor. It is genuinely good advice rooted in the way the sleeping brain works. If your dog's sleep distress seems severe, prolonged whimpering, full body trembling, gasping breaths, the safest way to help them is to use your voice from a little distance. Speak softly and calmly, just say their name maybe 2 or 3 times. Let the sound of your voice enter their sleeping awareness gradually and gently guide them upward toward waking. This is far safer than physical contact. Now let's talk about what you should do before sleep, not during it. The quality of your dog's dreams is shaped by the quality of their waking hours. This is not a vague philosophical point. It is a direct neurological fact. A dog who had a rich, stimulating, emotionally safe day, a good walk, positive interaction, a play session, calm and loving human contact, will process those positive experiences during sleep. Their REM cycles will be built around rewarding memories. That is what you want to give them. Make the hours before sleep particularly calm and positive. A gentle interaction, a quiet moment together, even just your relaxed presence in the same room. These become the last entries in the day's memory before the dreaming begins. Those final waking moments are disproportionately influential in shaping what the brain revisits during sleep. And pay attention to the signs of a happy dream versus a distressed one. Happy dreaming often looks like soft, irregular tail wagging, small happy vocalizations, gentle paddling movements, as if they're running somewhere they want to go. Distressed dreaming tends to produce rigid body posture, high-pitched or mournful sounds, and rapid shallow breathing. Learning to read these signals is part of reading your dog, part of truly knowing them. Your dog cannot tell you about their dreams over breakfast. They cannot describe the images, the feelings, the moments that replayed in their sleeping mind. But if you watch carefully, if you understand what is happening in that quiet, twitching stillness, you begin to understand something profound. Your dog's inner life is rich. It is emotional. It is shaped by you, by your presence, by the love or fear or joy that the day contained. And every night, while the world goes silent, your dog's brain is telling itself the story of its life. Make sure that story is a good one. We've talked about the science of dog dreams. We've talked about what fills those dreams and how to protect them. But there is one more layer here, one that I think is the most important of all, and the reason this topic matters beyond simple curiosity. The fact that dogs dream, the fact that they have an inner life that continues even in sleep, that processes emotion, that replays connection, fundamentally changes what it means to own a dog. Or rather, it reveals what it has always meant, whether we understood it or not. Your dog is not a creature that experiences only the present moment and nothing else. They carry their experiences forward. They live inside a continuous story. A story that includes memory, anticipation, fear, joy, and longing. When you leave the house in the morning, your dog does not simply wait in a thoughtless void until you return. They have a mental and emotional life that unfolds in your absence, and when they sleep, that life includes you, even when you're not there. This is both a beautiful truth and a serious responsibility. It means that neglect leaves traces that show up in dreams. It means that trauma echoes through sleep, night after night, reshaping the emotional baseline of a dog who never asked to carry those memories. It means that the moments you dismiss as small, a rough interaction, a moment of impatience, a day without real connection, are not simply forgotten. They are filed. They are processed. They potentially surface in the sleeping mind as something that the brain works hard to make sense of. But it also means that love leaves traces. That a walk in the morning becomes a dream in the afternoon. That the warmth of your hand becomes a sensation the sleeping brain recalls and returns to. That the safety of your presence is so neurologically significant to your dog that their unconscious mind gravitates toward it, even in sleep. There is a concept in animal cognition called attachment, the deep, emotionally regulating bond between a social animal and their primary caregiver. In dogs, this attachment to their human owners mirrors in many ways the attachment a young child has to a parent. The secure base, the emotional anchor, the face that means, I am safe, I am loved, I am home. And if the science of dreaming tells us anything, it tells us that this attachment does not switch off at night. It runs deeper than waking. It runs all the way down into the sleeping brain, into the quiet theater of REM, where your dog, curled up, breathing softly, paws gently twitching, is in some very real sense still with you. That is not a romantic exaggeration. That is what the evidence points toward. And I think if you are someone who truly loves their dog, it is one of the most meaningful things you will ever learn about them. You are not just their owner. You are part of their inner world. You appear in their dreams. You are the story their sleeping mind chooses to tell itself, night after night in the quiet dark. That is the secret world of your dog's dreams, and now you know what lives inside it. If this gave you a new way of seeing your dog, even just for a moment, consider subscribing to Canine Mind. Every week we go deeper into the psychology and inner life of dogs, because understanding them is how we love them better. Drop a comment below. What does your dog do when they dream? I genuinely love to know.